Stop being average. Because average is a trap. It's comfortable, it's accepted, and it's exactly why most people stay broke their entire lives. Look around. The system is designed to keep you average. You wake up, go to a job you don't love, trade your time for money, pay bills, scroll your phone, sleep, and repeat. Day after day, year after year. And one day you wake up at 40, 50, maybe 60, and realize you never actually lived. You just survived. But the 1%, they don't play that game. They think different. They move different. They build wealth while others build excuses. And today, you make a choice. You either stay average, or you start thinking like the 1%. Let me tell you something most people don't understand. Wealth is not about luck. It's not about where you were born. It's not even about how smart you are. Wealth is about mindset. The average person thinks, I need a job to survive. The wealthy think, how do I build something that pays me even when I'm not working? That one shift changes everything. Average people trade time for money. The 1% build assets. Average people spend first and save what's left. The 1% invest first and spend what's left. Average people fear risk. The 1% fear staying stuck. You see the difference? It's not small. It's massive. And here's the truth that might hurt. You've been programmed to stay average. From school to society, you were taught to follow rules, not break them. To be safe, not bold. To fit in, not stand out. But wealth doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from standing out. Think about it. Nobody becomes rich by doing what everyone else is doing. If you want 1% results, you cannot live a 99% lifestyle. That means different habits, different decisions, different sacrifices. While others are partying, you're working. While others are sleeping, you're learning. While others are complaining, you're building. And yes, it's hard, but staying average is harder because average comes at a hidden cost. Debt, stress, lack of freedom, a life where you need permission to take a vacation, a life where you depend on a paycheck just to survive. Is that really the life you want? Or do you want freedom? The freedom to wake up when you want, to travel when you want, to spend time with people you love without checking your bank account first. That life exists, but it's not for average people. It's for those who are willing to think bigger, act smarter, and stay disciplined when others quit. Let's talk about discipline, because this is where most people fail. Everyone wants to be rich, but nobody wants to do what it takes. Waking up early, cutting distractions, saying no to comfort, building skills instead of wasting time. The 1% understand something powerful. Short-term pain creates long-term freedom, but average people do the opposite. They choose short-term comfort and end up with long-term struggle. That's why they stay stuck. Listen carefully. Your habits are either building your wealth or destroying it. Every hour you waste, every dollar you spend on things you don't need, every excuse you make, it's keeping you average, and average doesn't pay. Now here's the shift you need to make. Stop asking, how can I make money? Start asking, how can I create value? Because money follows value. Always. The more value you provide, the more money you make. That's how the 1% think. They don't chase money. They build systems that generate money. Businesses, investments, skills that are in demand. And you can do the same. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Start learning. Start building. Start failing. Yes, failing. Because failure is part of the process. The 1% fail more than average people. But they don't quit. They learn, adjust, and keep going. While average people fail once and give up forever. That's the difference. Persistence, consistency, relentless focus. You have to become obsessed. Obsessed with growth. Obsessed with improvement. Obsessed with becoming the person who deserves wealth. Because here's the truth. If you don't change, nothing changes. Your income won't magically increase. Your life won't magically improve. You have to become better, stronger, smarter, more disciplined. And it starts today. Right now, make a decision. No more average thinking. No more wasting time. No more excuses. You're done living a life that doesn't excite you. You're done settling for less. From this moment forward, you move with purpose. You think bigger. You act like the 1%, even before the money comes, because that's how it works. First you become, then you receive. So start becoming. Become disciplined. Become focused. Become unstoppable. Because the truth is, there's nothing special about the 1%. They just decided to stop being average. And now, it's your turn. You've made the decision. But now comes the real test. Because deciding to stop being average is easy. Living it every single day, that's where most people break. This is the phase where motivation fades, where excuses get louder, where comfort starts calling you back. And if you're not careful, you'll fall right back into the same life you were trying to escape. So let's get something clear. Motivation is not enough. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. The 1% don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They rely on habits. They rely on discipline so strong that even on their worst days, they still move forward. That's the difference. Average people act when they feel like it. The 1% act no matter how they feel. They don't negotiate with their emotions. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They execute every single day. So the question is, what are your daily systems? Because your future is hidden in your daily routine, not your dreams, not your goals, your habits. If you wake up late, waste hours scrolling, avoid learning, and delay action, you're building an average life. But if you wake up with purpose, protect your time, learn high-income skills, and take action daily, you're building wealth. It's that simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Let's talk about time, because this is where most people lose. You have the same 24 hours as the 1%. Same day, same clock, but completely different results. Why? Because average people spend time. The 1% invest time. There's a difference. Spending time is easy. Scrolling social media, watching random videos, complaining, procrastinating, that's spending time. And it gives you nothing in return. But investing time, that's intentional. That's learning something valuable, building something meaningful, improving your skills, growing your income potential. Every hour you invest compounds over time, just like money. And if you're not investing your time, you're losing your future. Now let's talk about focus. Because in today's world, focus is a superpower. Everyone is distracted. Notifications, messages, endless content. Your attention is under attack every second. And if you can't control your focus, you can't build wealth. It's that simple. The 1% protect their focus like their life depends on it. Because it does. They create environments where distractions are eliminated. They say no more than they say yes. They understand that every distraction is stealing from their future. While average people try to do everything, the 1% focus on what actually matters. High-impact actions, income-generating skills, long-term opportunities. Let me ask you something. Are you busy or are you productive? Because there's a difference. Being busy feels good. It makes you feel like you're doing something. But being productive? That's what actually moves your life forward. The 1% don't chase busyness. They chase results. And that means doing fewer things, but doing the right things. Now, here's something most people don't want to hear. You need to cut people off. Yes, because your environment shapes your mindset. If you're surrounded by average thinkers, you will think average. If you're surrounded by people who complain, make excuses, and avoid growth, that energy will pull you down. The 1% are extremely careful about who they allow into their circle. They choose growth over comfort. They choose accountability over approval. They choose people who challenge them, not people who keep them comfortable. This doesn't mean you hate anyone. It means you respect your future enough to protect it. Because not everyone is meant to go where you're going. And that's okay. Now, let's talk about money habits. Because wanting wealth is one thing. Managing it is another. Most people, even if they suddenly get money, they lose it. Why? Because they never learn how to handle it. The 1% think differently about money. They don't see money as something to spend. They see it as a tool to create more money, a tool to buy assets, a tool to build freedom. Every dollar has a job. Every dollar is directed. While average people spend on things that look rich, the 1% invest in things that make them rich. That's a huge difference. One builds an image. The other builds a future. So start asking yourself, is this purchase making me richer or just making me look rich? Because those are two very different paths, and only one leads to real wealth. Now here's the truth. This journey is not fast. It's not easy, and it's definitely not comfortable, but it's worth it. Every early morning, every sacrifice, every moment of discipline, it's building something bigger than you can see right now. And one day, it will all make sense. You'll look back at the struggle and realize it was necessary because it made you stronger, smarter, unstoppable. So don't quit now. You're already ahead of most people just by choosing to think differently. But thinking is not enough. Now you must act relentlessly, consistently, without excuses, because the life you want is built by what you do daily, not occasionally. So lock in, stay focused, protect your time, build your habits, and keep moving forward, no matter what, because average is easy to return to. But greatness requires commitment. And right now, you're proving to yourself that you have what it takes. At this point, most people would have already quit, not because they're weak, but because this path exposes everything. Your laziness, your excuses, your lack of discipline. It forces you to face a version of yourself you've been avoiding for years. And that's uncomfortable. That's why average people run back to comfort, back to distractions, back to excuses, back to a life that feels safe, but leads nowhere. But you're still here. And that means something, because now this is no longer about money. This is about identity. Who are you becoming? Because wealth is not just something you get. It's something you grow into. You can't live like a 99% thinker and expect a 1% life. It doesn't work like that. You have to transform. Mentally, emotionally, daily. The 1% are not just rich in money. They are rich in thinking. They see opportunities where others see problems. They stay calm where others panic. They move forward where others freeze. And that level of control, that level of awareness, it doesn't happen overnight. It's built through pressure, through failure, through moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. Let's talk about fear, because this is what silently controls most people's lives. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing money, fear of looking stupid. And because of these fears, people never even try. They stay in the same place for years, not because they can't grow, but because they're too afraid to move. The 1% feel fear too. Don't get it twisted. They're not fearless. They just don't let fear make their decisions. They act despite it. That's power. And you need to develop that, because every level up in life requires a new level of courage. You want more money? You'll need to take bigger risks. You want more freedom? You'll need to leave comfort behind. You want a different life? You'll have to become a different person. There's no shortcut, no hack, no easy way out. And that's exactly why most people never make it. Now, let's talk about failure again, but this time from a different angle. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. Every mistake you make, every loss you take, every setback you face, it's giving you data. It's showing you what doesn't work. But average people take failure personally. They think, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. This isn't for me. So they quit. But the 1%, they analyze, they adjust, they improve. They understand that failure is part of the price of success, and they're willing to pay it. Are you? Because if you're not willing to fail, you're not ready to win. That's the truth. Now let's get real about sacrifice, because nobody talks about this enough. You will miss out on things. You will say no to fun. You will lose people. You will feel alone at times. And there will be moments where you question everything, where you wonder if it's even worth it. This is a price. And most people are not willing to pay it. They want success without sacrifice. They want results without discipline. They want wealth without change. And that's why they stay average. But you already know that's not how it works. So when those hard moments come, and they will come, you have to remind yourself, why did you start? Was it just for money? Or was it for freedom? For control over your life? For the ability to live on your own terms? Because if your why is strong enough, you won't quit. You'll push through, even when it hurts, even when it's slow, even when nobody believes in you. And let's talk about that too, because at some point, people will doubt you. They'll question your decisions. They'll tell you to be realistic. They'll say things like, why don't you just get a stable job? You're taking too much risk. This probably won't work. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. But understand this. People project their limits onto you. They speak from their fears, not your potential. So don't let someone who gave up on their dreams talk you out of yours. Stay locked in. Stay focused. Because the truth is, nobody sees your vision like you do. And they don't have to. This is your path, your journey, your responsibility. Now here's the shift that separates the real one from the rest. Delayed gratification. The ability to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Average people want results now. They want fast money, quick success, instant rewards. But the 1%, they play the long game. They're willing to work for years without seeing results. They're willing to invest time, energy, and effort without immediate return because they understand something powerful. What you build slowly lasts longer. And when it finally pays off, it pays off big. So be patient, but don't be lazy. Keep working, keep building, keep improving, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because something is happening. You're becoming stronger, smarter, more disciplined, more focused. You're becoming the person who can handle success. And that matters more than anything. Because if success comes too early, without growth, it disappears just as fast. But when you grow into it, when you earn it, it stays. So trust the process. Trust the struggle. Trust the version of you that refuses to quit. Because that version is your future, and it's closer than you think. Now, this is where everything comes together. Because at the end of the day, this was never just about money. It was about freedom. The freedom to choose your life. Instead of accepting whatever life gives you. The freedom to wake up with purpose. Instead of waking up with pressure. The freedom to build something real. Instead of surviving on something temporary. And the truth is, very few people ever reach this point. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They won't push when it gets hard. They won't stay consistent when it gets boring. They won't believe when results are invisible. But you did. You stayed. You listened. You understood. And now, you're different. Because once your mindset changes, there's no going back to being average. You start seeing things differently. You start thinking differently. You start moving differently. And slowly, your life begins to change. Not overnight, not instantly, but permanently. Because real success is not loud. It's quiet. It's built in early mornings, late nights, sacrifices nobody sees. It's built when no one is watching. And one day, everything you worked for, everything you sacrificed for, everything you stayed disciplined for, it shows. The money comes, the freedom comes, the respect comes. But more importantly, you become someone you're proud of, someone who didn't quit, someone who didn't settle, someone who refused to live an average life. And that is the real win. So from this moment on, remember this. You don't need luck. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need anyone's permission. All you need is a decision to keep going. No matter how slow it feels. No matter how hard it gets. No matter how long it takes. Because the 1% are not special. They're just consistent. They just refuse to quit. And now, that's who you are becoming. So stand up, lock in, stay disciplined, and go build the life most people only dream about. Because average is crowded, but the top is waiting for you.